Welcome to another video. On the day that Claude launched their new Claude 3.5 Sonnet model, they also launched a new chat interface feature called Artifacts. This feature is gaining real popularity because it allows you to generate any code or SVG and preview it directly within the chat interface, which is pretty cool if you think about it. Because you don't need to download the code and run it every time. Instead, you can run and preview it directly in the browser. It's very close to something like Text-To-Frontend. People are going crazy about it on the internet. It can generate animations, websites, applications, and almost anything you can imagine. However, people like me, who generally prefer to do everything open source, also wanted these features. We wanted to use them with open source models or any other models apart from the Claude model. Now, we have it with this repo called GPT-Artifacts. As the name suggests, it's an artifacts interface for OpenAI's models like GPT-4. It allows you to generate any front end and show it directly on the right side within the interface, just like artifacts. I don't think it supports Python and other languages yet, but you can raise an issue and ask the developer to add that. Although they say it's only for ChatGPT, I'll be making it work with Ollama to use local models and the artifacts feature with those models as well. I think it will be pretty cool. So, let's get it installed now. First, go to the GitHub page and clone it to your computer. Next, rename the env example file and remove the example part. Once done, open it and enter your OpenAI API key here. I'll also show you how to use it with local models after this. Anyway, once that's done, open up your terminal and run this npm install command, which will install the dependencies. Once that's done, run the npm start command, and the application should start. Now, navigate to localhost 3000 in your browser, and you should see this screen. You can enter whatever you want to generate here, and it will generate that. Let's first ask it to generate a Minesweeper game. Okay, as you can see, it starts generating the code. We'll need to wait for a minute.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so we have the code now, and you can see the bifurcated code on the right side. You can see the HTML, CSS, and JS code all separated here. And in the Preview tab, you can see the working preview of the code itself. It works pretty well. This is really amazing. I mean, you can generate code and easily preview it in seconds. It's great for prototyping. Currently, it doesn't allow for making changes to the code, because if you send anything in the bottom chat box, it starts generating everything again from scratch without previous context. But I hope that will be added soon. Now let's create another interface with it. Let's ask it to create a chat interface. Okay, if I send it here, you can see it starts getting generated. Let's wait for a bit.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so we have the code now. It's again bifurcated and everything. But now let's look at the preview. Okay, it looks cool, and it works, which is also pretty cool. It can generate some really good UIs, I must say. Now, let's also generate a landing page and see if it can generate something good. Okay, so it's getting generated now. We'll need to wait for a minute again.
A few minutes later.
Okay, now we have the code here. Let's preview it. Okay, this looks pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty usable, and it will keep getting better with better prompting. It's really cool. But now, let's try it with a local model. To do that, first, go to Ollama's site. Click on the download button, choose your operating system, and get it installed. Once done, go to the models page and choose a model. I'll be using it with the DeepSeek-Coder-V2 model, so I'll click on that and copy the installation command. Now, paste it in your terminal, and it will start getting installed. Once installed, you'll see this chat interface. send a message, and check if it works. Once done, come to this file. Now, over here, set the base URL to Ollama like this. Now, change the model to the one you want to use. In my case, it's DeepSeek-Coder-V2. Once done, save it. Now, just run the application with npm start and go to localhost. Now, let's send a message and check if it can create stuff or not. First, let's ask it to create a landing page. Okay, if I send it here, it starts generating. We'll need to wait for a minute.
A few minutes later.
Okay, now we have the code. We also have the bifurcated code, just like with GPT-4. But now let's look at the preview. It's pretty fine. It's a little distorted due to the images not being there. Also, it's very small. But I think if you give it a more detailed prompt, it should be able to create something better. Now let's create the Minesweeper game with it. Okay, it's generating now. Let's wait.
A few minutes later.
Okay, we have the code now. Let's look at the preview and see if it works. It looks fine, but the game doesn't work. So, I guess it cannot create perfect games. I believe the bigger 230 billion parameter one should be able to make it, but this can't. Now, let's also create the chat interface that we had created with the GPT-4 model, so we can have a good comparison of the feature sets of each model. Okay, let's send the prompt here. It's generating now. Let's wait for a minute.
A few minutes later.
Okay, we have the code here. Let's see if it works. Okay, this works pretty well. So, it can generate most things, but where the logic gets complex, it isn't able to do that. But overall, using it with the local model is also pretty cool. It also works really well with the GPT-4 model and can generate almost anything. I hope it keeps getting improved. It's almost like Claude's Artifacts feature, but it's open source. You can also use it with something like CodeStrawl, which may give better results. But overall, I like using it with GPT-4 and the DeepSeek model. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments. If you liked this video, consider donating to my channel through the Super Thanks option below. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye.